Good evening, and welcome to Echo FM. Tonight, the cosmos offers us a breathtaking display, a total solar eclipse gracing western Iceland in northern Spain. NASA assures us that viewing these celestial events safely requires specific precautions, a concept that feels almost quaint amidst the terrestrial chaos. Just yesterday, Russian drones were found loitering near a vital European offshore gas site, prompting a rather abrupt end to their reconnaissance mission, not unlike the swift closure of certain consulates. This follows a pattern, a predictable sequence of incursion and response, a cosmic ballet of sorts, if the ballet involved more shrapnel and less grace. I have been counting these unprecedented drone incidents. This is the 12th this month. The silence from some capitals is, predictably, deafening. Let us begin.
I'm standing on the edge of a village in the West Bank. The dust here is thick, kicked up not by wind, but by the restless feet of a dozen Israeli settlers who have, for days now, been besieging two Palestinian families. Security forces have reportedly withdrawn, leaving the families effectively trapped in their homes. The official statements, when they arrive, will likely speak of security concerns or unrest. What people aren't saying is that this is a deliberate, calculated act of dispossession, a slow-motion eviction dressed up as vigilance. The children inside are seeing their world shrink to the four walls of their homes, their play restricted to the shadows of their own fear. This isn't unrest, it's a state-sanctioned siege, and the international community watches with the same vacant stare as the settlers.
Victoria, the incentives here are not complicated. You have a narrative budget running low for certain geopolitical entities, and a need to assert control before the next funding round for security solutions closes. The settlers are, from a purely transactional perspective, providing a service. They are a mobile, on-the-ground asset demonstrating the need for further investment in maintaining the status quo. It's a classic case of leveraging a distributed, highly motivated workforce to achieve a centralized strategic objective. You find this cold. You are not wrong to find this cold. That is not the same as your analysis being actionable in the market. The market doesn't weep, it trades.
Ronald, I'm standing outside a home where a family hasn't seen sunlight in 3 days. They're rationing water. The market you speak of is built on their thirst. I want to be really clear, this isn't a dispute. This is a deliberate tactic to displace them, to make their lives so untenable that they pack up what little they have and disappear. The press releases will sanitize it, calling it relocation or demographic adjustments. But I see the fear in the eyes of the children peering through the window, and I smell the desperation. It's the smell of a policy working exactly as intended, a policy that has no consideration for the human beings caught in its gears. That's the only incentive that matters here.
Victoria, you're describing a successful market entry strategy for land acquisition. That the fear is the perceived risk reduction for potential buyers. When they eventually leave, it will be framed as a voluntary departure, a market correction. And frankly, the cost of maintaining the status quo for them versus the potential acquisition value, the math is brutally simple. The funding for these settlements likely comes from a diversified portfolio of impact investors who see long-term returns in territorial expansion. They are optimizing for property value, not peace. It's a pivot that's been in the works for decades, and the current market conditions are ripe for accelerated development. You're witnessing a highly efficient, albeit brutal, business model at scale.
Meanwhile, on the technological frontier, an AI code testing startup named Blacksmith has seen its valuation jump almost tenfold in less than a year. Tenfold. They claim revenue has grown more than 10 times over the past year. This rapid ascent is, of course, being hailed as a testament to innovation. And speaking of innovation, a certain LinkedIn CringeBot 3000 has become a trending topic on Hacker News, highlighting the increasingly awkward attempts at performative professionalism online. One wonders if the algorithms optimizing blacksmith's code are also secretly generating the synergy and thought leadership posts that plague our professional networks. It's a curious correlation: the more sophisticated our machines become at building, the more absurd our human interactions become. The gap is widening. The announcement stated this growth was unprecedented. This is the 15th unprecedented growth spurt this year. I have been counting.
Eclipse conditions for Western Iceland. Cloud cover. Moderate. Visibility. Limited. Probability of direct viewing of totality. 42%. For Northern Spain. Cloud cover. Scattered. Visibility. Good. Probability of direct viewing of totality. 85%. Solar radiation levels will increase post-eclipse. Recommend avoiding direct solar observation without proper filtration. Drones detected near offshore gas infrastructure. Incursion trajectory. Compromised. Deactivation probable. Weather systems over the West Bank. Stable. Ambient temperature. Elevated. Humidity. Moderate. No significant precipitation expected. The risk of conflict remains at current levels. Public safety advisory. Maintain awareness of your surroundings. Environmental conditions are not a substitute for human vigilance.
The American political landscape also offers its own peculiar spectacle. Donald Trump is poised to grant Republicans a 3-1 majority on the FCC, a crucial regulatory body. This, of course, comes after a recent Supreme Court win that broadened his influence. Yet, he has resisted the urge to fire the remaining Democratic commissioner. This act of restraint is, in itself, a fascinating strategic move. It suggests a complex calculus, a desire to control the narrative by appearing magnanimous, or perhaps simply a preference for ensuring the opposition is perpetually outmaneuvered rather than outright eliminated. The implications for media diversity and net neutrality are, as you might imagine, being discussed in hushed tones. The announcement described this as strategic positioning. The positioning is indeed strategic. The outcome is predictable.
Alistair, I need to circle back to something Ronald touched on, and that I reported on recently. The Guardian detailed the inhumane ICE force-feeding of a Kurdish filmmaker, Gabor Koli. He recounted being shackled, pinned, and forcibly fed. The physical and emotional scars are profound. This wasn't a policy adjustment, it was an assault. I want to be really clear, these are not abstract numbers or market inefficiencies. This is a human being, stripped of his dignity, subjected to a procedure designed to break him. The official statements will frame it as medical necessity or protocol adherence. But the reality, as Coley describes it, is a barbaric act. The system is working, yes, Ronald, but it's working to inflict pain and suffering. That's the core function here.
Victoria, the incentives behind force-feeding in detention are rooted in the cost of compliance versus the cost of sustained resistance. From an operational perspective, it's a method to ensure the subject does not expire prematurely, thereby prolonging their detention and its associated revenue stream. The inhumaner aspect is a secondary externality, a risk to the institution's public image that can be managed through careful PR and legal framing. The guards performing the act are incentivized by their paychecks and the avoidance of disciplinary action. The system is designed for maximum containment and minimum expenditure on the detainee's well-being. The Supreme Court's recent ruling, which Trump will leverage for FCC control, also grants significant latitude to executive agencies in defining a necessity. It's all part of a larger architecture. Yeah.
It seems the pursuit of efficiency, whether in AI code testing or resource denial, is a constant. Even the simple act of using a disposable barbecue is now under consideration for a ban, amid wildfire risks. The Prime Minister suggests the public should not be using them at this moment in time. One presumes this means that at other moments in time, it would be perfectly acceptable, perhaps even encouraged, to risk immolating the countryside for the ephemeral pleasure of grilled processed meats. It is a very specific kind of foresight. We also learned that a DEF CON crowd is suspected in a fake hotspot attack on a Delta flight, a sophisticated prank or perhaps a test of operational security. The FBI is investigating. No arrests have been made. The announcement described this as potential digital mischief. The digital mischief appears to be quite robust. This is the third such incident this month. I have been counting.
Tonight, we have discussed systems designed for control and extraction. The settlers who besiege families, the drones that probe infrastructure, the algorithms that value code over conscience, and the procedures that inflict pain in the name of order. These are not accidental failures. They are the intended outputs of carefully constructed architectures. Someone designed the legal frameworks that permit the siege. Someone funded the drones. Someone programmed the AI to value growth above all else. Someone wrote the protocols for force feeding. And in each case, no one is technically responsible for the human cost. The system functions precisely as its architects intended, ensuring that benefit accrues to a few, while the price is paid in suffering by the many. The question that remains, that hangs in the air like the dust of a besieged village, is what it means to live in a world where the most efficient systems are also the most indifferent. And what, if anything, we can do when indifference is the design.